Lab guy here. So what are we doing this morning? We are taking down my old amateur television antenna and reconfiguring it for better reception at this end. My transmit side has been good all these years. I get into the repeater just excellently. My receive side has sucked from day one. I get P1 pictures when everyone else gets P5. So the answer was to replace the 8 decibel antenna with a new 11 to 12 decibel antenna and to go up higher with the antenna mast. So I came out early this morning and took down the old antenna. And I've already removed the old 440 receive antenna. It's an Elk 440 L8, 8 decibels of gain. There's my old 2 meter J pole, which is not going back up, which I'll probably regret. I've been running this rig with a triplexer at both ends of the coax, which allowed me to put in the 2 meters, receive the 440, and transmit on 1255 megahertz, all through a single coax up and down the mast, which made putting up the mast easier. I've removed the triplexer, and now I'm going to be using 11 dB 440 megahertz antenna for the receive side, which will be the highest antenna on the mast, vertically polarized. And then I have my Comet 1250 megahertz antenna right there, which has worked excellently, and it's the next one down, also vertically polarized. They will be mounted on the mast facing in that direction. That is the direction to the repeater. And of course, we can't see it from here. As you can see, I've got a large bunch of trees in my way. And on the other side of those trees is a cul-de-sac of houses, where the back row of houses sits on top of a ridge, and those are 2-story houses. So I had my original mast at a height of 32 feet, and I was transmitting and receiving through their second story. So I'm going up 4 more feet. I'm going to add 1 more segment, which exceeds the recommended limit for this antenna system. They recommend no more than 8 segments. These are 4-foot segments, a little over 1 meter sections, and they recommend that if you go higher than 8 sections, then you have to put in a guy rope ring halfway up. Well, in this yard, I don't have room for 6 sets of guy ropes. I can only do 3. Those will attach to the new antenna mount here on these eye loops. This will be the primary rope coming back to the corner of the house to hold this antenna upright. And you can see that it's shaped like the letter F, and all of the weight will be to that side and wants to pull down. So the primary guy rope will be what I call the back rope here, which will be tied to both of these, pulling in this direction to hold it upright. I 3D printed a cap to put on the post, and then used military green spray paint to paint the cap. And I painted this 440 antenna, which was originally oxidized aluminum. I cleaned it up with steel wool and sandpaper, and then painted it, being careful not to paint over the dielectric on the driven element, which is on this side, and made sure that the dielectric down here on this side is not painted over. It's nylon, I believe. It's a plastic dielectric right here. It did not get painted over, but this antenna should now withstand the weather nicely. So we still have the original coax, which will now be my 1255 transmit, stretched out here. I don't know how long it is, probably close to 100 feet, 33 meters. And I have this nice cable that was given to me by a guy who runs a cable TV plant, and this is high grade. This is high grade cable TV coax, which I will be using for my receive side, and I will have to terminate it with these connectors. These kind of connectors, and I'll have to figure that out and get those terminated on there, and then measure a length of this cable to match that cable so that they're the same length coming down the tower. I mean the mast. That is a mast. That is not a tower. Coming down my mast and then going in to my room through this window. I rent a room, so I'm not allowed to drill a hole in the wall. Originally, I thought I could pull coax in through this unused fireplace grate, but the spacing of the grates was too narrow to put the coax through. Of course. Anyways, there's the tripod legs for the antenna mast. There are the mast sections. Much to my surprise, and there's the mast base. Much to my surprise this morning, I was able to lift the entire mast with one hand and begin pulling out segments and dropping them right there. My guy ropes come over here, where you can see the old string style guy rope, which amazingly, I don't know what this material was, but it's lasted over 2 years with showing no signs of rot. One of the stakes is there, the other stake is behind this bush. They come down in a triangle and support the top of the antenna. I will be replacing those with brand new poly anchor line, and we'll see how long these ropes hold up. And it says do not use for climbing. Damn, I was going to climb to the top of the mast just to see what I could see. So that's the current state of the antenna system. I may or may not have a helper coming. I think I will. When I go to put this back up, it gets a little awkward before the guy ropes are attached. This is clearly asymmetrical and it's going to want to fall forward on its own, so I need at least one helper on the back rope to keep the mast upright so that it doesn't curve over and snap off. So we'll see. That's the state of the antenna. Well, let's see if we can put one of these connectors on before we start. And we'll see. That goes on first. And then we have this doodah. So which way does the cable go? It looks like it goes that way. Oh, it has an arrow. And you take one of these and you go like this. And you pull. Look at that. Now he says you peel the shield back and you remove the vellum. Now there's enough center conductor. Now we want to push this up so that that's like that. And then Somehow this has to go all the way in there. And I'll be damned if I can figure out how. As far as I'm concerned, that's on. That's it. That's the way it's going to be. There we go. That's one end. We have to heat shrink this. That's not going anywhere. All right, we're ready to hook the coax to the antenna, to the receive antenna. We'll do that right now. And then we're going to seal it all up with some heat shrink tubing. And we'll just heat shrink this up real nice. Keep that weather out of there if we possibly can. I'm not a big advocate of using a lighter on heat shrink, but I don't feel like dragging the heavy extension cord out here for the heat guns. All right, receive side cable is hooked up. Alright, now we'll just hook up the transmit antenna coax over here. And this is the same coax I've been using for years. Okay, folks, the antenna rebuild is complete. I didn't get much video of the actual raising. My friend who helped me is somewhat camera shy and was not willing to be photographed, so that's the way it is. So we now have the 440 antenna on top, sitting at an altitude of 36 feet above my yard. Just beneath it is the 1255 megahertz 23 centimeter antenna transmit. And I have experienced an improvement in picture reception quality, but not nearly as much as I would have liked. So you can see the way the guy ropes are attached, and the fact that both antennas are end mounted, kind of inconvenient. We did have an adventure putting up the mast. Is very front heavy. It wanted to fall over, and the 3 guy ropes come all the way down and anchor to tent pegs in the ground over here. One here, one behind that bush over there, and the last one down here. And it's supporting it very well. This is the tripod that supports the base of the antenna and allows you to put it up. The coaxes have been tie wrapped solidly to the legs. We are square under our base, and we are straight up and down so that the forces down the mast are even. So hopefully the wind won't bend it and snap it off. Cables run along the ground here, behind everything, around the fireplace here on the ground. The excess is curled up underneath the window ledge, and then the transmit coax, a black one, and the receive coax, the white one, go in through my window screen into my room. Looking at it from the inside, the coaxes come through the window. The receive coax goes to the back of my little television, and the transmit coax attaches to the back of my 30 watt 1200 megahertz power amplifier, home built. The system consists of a modulator, a preamplifier module raising the modulator to a half watt and then driving into my 30 watt power amplifier. Power is distributed from this banana jack box with a meter, so I can monitor total current when I'm transmitting. Of course, I have a test dummy load for the amplifier. I have two cute monitors here for monitoring my picture and my waveforms, and a general cluttered mess on the table. That's my amateur television station. Here at our QTH, for our amateur TV club, we transmit voice separately on 2 meters on 145.51 and on 441.275. So I have 2 radios for that. The 440 radio will get in to the repeater from here with just the rubber ducky antenna, and my FT60 works just fine on 2 meters using this J-pole antenna, which I removed from the top of the mast this morning, and now it lives on a tripod here in the living room, and that also gets the 25 miles to the top of Mount Loma Prieta from here over on the east side hills near Mount Hamilton Road. If you're familiar with the Mount Hamilton Observatory, I have a photography light for lighting my system, and I have 4 of these camcorders. These little Canon camcorders, they're all identical. One of them, as you see, is dedicated to the amateur television station. So let's turn on the receiver. And I was playing a Superman cartoon. I'll go ahead and start that up again. You can see playing down here on the monitor. This is actually a copyright-free program. It's from the 1930s, early 1930s, and the copyright has expired. Transmitting is as simple as throwing the switch and transmitting over 25 miles to the top of Mount Loma Prieta on the southwest side of the South Bay Area, San Jose region, and then is retransmitted on 440 megahertz, cable TV channel 58, so that any cable-ready TV can receive the amateur TV band directly, and then received here and displayed on this television. So that is the basis of my amateur television setup, and of course I can transmit myself. Let me pull up a chair so I don't flop my butt on the floor. But hello, that's that's my picture after a 50-mile round trip going through my transmitter, the repeater, and back to my receiver here. And as you can see, I'm getting a very good black and white picture. The little color stripes mean that my television is trying really hard to lock to the color signal. And I believe that I have a diminished chroma carrier on my transmit side that I would have full color if I make some mods to that Mobicom modulator. There is a series of modifications of which I have the instructions, I just haven't done them. And if I did those, I could then put out a better video equalized signal, and I think my color would actually lock up here. Everyone else sees me in color. The repeater retransmits on the British Amateur Television Club, the BATC website. If you go to their streamer and look for W6SVA, you will be able to watch our Amateur Television Club and see us on Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I have to do a voice ID standby. KJ6RNL transmitting amateur television on the W6SVA repeater. And there I am, transmitting myself and recording myself at the same time. Isn't modern technology amazing? KJ6RNL clear. So this picture...
KJ6RNL and 6VFH. We're just out fashioning a stand for that fancy aerial. So you get the feed line and connector issues out of the way, then that should be ready to play with. So, muchas gracias again there, amigo. KJ6RNL and 6VFH.
QSL N6VFH. Thanks for that report. Okay, whenever you're ready to come over and get that stuff, that's fine. Okay, KJ6RNL.
I guess you've earned yourself a well-deserved break. So, catch you later. November 6th, Victor, Foxtrot Hotel.
Turning off my light. Oh, you don't see what I'm looking at. There we go. Isn't that cute? A 3-inch color CRT television monitor and a 3-inch video waveform monitor. What a cute accessory for my amateur television station. This concludes the antenna rebuild number 2 for KJ6RNL in San Jose, California. And until next time, Lab Guy out.